So how often do you get in your car, drive aimlessly, and not know where you're going? Besides the occasional joyride, I would be fairly confident to say that you probably don't do this very often. This would be a waste of your time, money, and gas. So the question I have for you is, why do we let this happen in our own life? The problem is we aren't clear, and when you're not clear, we don't know where we're going. The end result of that is drifting. We waste time, energy, money, because we are drifting throughout the day, and ultimately we begin to drift throughout our life. So in this video, we are going to break down the power behind clarity so you can stop drifting and start living. The first thing we need to do is get clear. Now, as we go through this video, we'll keep using our car analogy because it's a really easy representation to see how this really relates to our life and the goals we are looking to achieve. So the first thing you need to understand is, where are you going? If we start with our car analogy, if you get in the car and don't know where you're going, you probably won't actually move. You won't actually go anywhere. If you do decide to go somewhere and you don't know where you're going, you will quickly be met with stress, frustration, anger, because you know you're driving around aimlessly. You know that you are wasting time, money, gas, but you continue to do it. Now, this is no different in our own everyday lives. When we don't know where we're going, but we continue to throw strategies at it, we know it's not the right strategy, right? The thing is, we keep doing it, and it's built up and continues to build more stress and anger because you're not moving the needle forward. Even though you're putting in effort, it's not effort in the right direction. So you first need to understand where you're going. Once you understand where you're going, you may find that you may need to make internal or external changes. For example, if you are driving a car and you decide that you are going to do a far trip across the country, it would be more beneficial to go in a car that is better on gas and more comfortable compared to a two-door sports car that's bad on gas. Similarly, if we are looking at our goals, such as relating to our health, something you may need to change is take the unhealthy food out of the pantry. Take it out of your house. Remove the stimuli. And you can do this because you now know where you're going. If your goal is to lose weight, it won't be beneficial to have that bad food in the house. Get rid of it, right? It sounds simple, but you never get rid of it and take that step if you don't first know where you're going. Now that you know where you're going, you need to plan how to get there. Planning can be done subconsciously or consciously. If we use our car analogy, we can better understand how this works. Let's say you are taking a trip to your local grocery store and you've done the route hundreds, if not thousands of times. You go get in your car, and what do? Do you plan? No. You drive and you arrive at your destination. You're familiar with the route. You've done it before. You have experience with it. So you know exactly what to do. So don't take the time to plan it. Just go and execute. However, if we go back to our cross-country analogy, what we'll see is that because we're not familiar, because we don't have the experience, we need to plan out the route that is going to be the best fit for us. This ultimately still aligns with where you're looking to go. For example, if you're looking to go and get there in the fastest amount of time, you will plan the fastest possible route. Conversely, if you are trying to take the more scenic route, you will find the most scenic route. That scenic route won't get you there as fast as possible, but that's fine. You planned for it. It's aligned with where you're looking to go. This is exactly what I want you to start to carry over as it relates to your goals, whether we're talking about health, whether we're talking about success, whether we're talking about relationships. And that is, the familiarity of it and your experience is going to dictate how much planning time you probably need. So if it's something you're familiar with and you have experience, execute, right? Don't get caught up in the small details. However, if it's something that you're not familiar with and it's something you have inexperience with, you may need to plan for days, weeks, months before you execute. It really just depends on the goal and the destination that you're looking to get at. So now we know where we're going and how we're getting there. Next, we need to focus on ensuring we reach our final destination. So how many of you have ever been driving, reached your destination, but have no idea who was just driving, even though it was you, and how you actually got there, right? This is when you are kind of drifting and not focused. You're on autopilot. Conversely, how many of you can remember a time when you're driving in a storm? You were hyper-focused, hyper-aware. You were looking at your mirrors, your rear-view mirrors, your side-view mirrors. You were gripping the steering wheel, and you could recall every detail from that trip. Well, which one of these are you doing throughout your daily life? Are you on autopilot, or are you actually present and living? The thing is, we live in a world that is full of distractions. And a lot of us want the keys to focus so we can be more productive. Here are the 2 keys. I just told you them. You need to have clarity and you need to have a plan. Sure, we can download focus apps and we can put timers on and go in a quiet room with music and use those tools. But ultimately, when you know where you're going and how you're getting there, you'll be focused all the time because you know exactly what needs to be done to reach the final destination. So now we know where we're going, how we're getting there, and we have the focus to reach our destination. The last and final step is to simply execute. It sounds ridiculously easy, but a lot of us get caught up in the planning aspect and in the end goal, and we forget to execute. Or people are afraid to execute. Well, remember, just with our driving example, remember when you learned how to drive? How afraid were you to get on that highway? How afraid were you to parallel park? You started to increase your confidence the more you did it. And the more you had that plan and that clarity, now you just do it without thinking. You get on the highway, you get off the highway. There's no thought behind it. It's this effortless habit that you have. So I encourage you to execute. Even if you're scared, you have the necessary steps now to execute on that goal in the end destination that you're looking to achieve. It might be scary at first, but the more you continue to do it, the more you can refine the best way to do it. So this is your friendly reminder to make sure you have clarity, make sure you have a plan, make sure you're focused to get that plan, and then execute.